This is all wrong. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction. And all you can talk about is money. How dare you?
My name is Greta Thunberg. I am 15 years old and I'm from Sweden. Many people say that Sweden is just a small country, but I've learned that you are never too small to make a difference.
Caroline Chen is the co-editor-in-chief of a high school newspaper in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Around the town's election day in 2021, she wrote an opinion article about the town's economic policies. Soon after publication, a local organization responded and verbally attacked her with emails, putting outside pressure on her. Later, the student newspaper at the University of North Carolina and other local media stood by Caroline's side and used their pens to speak and stand together.
I was like, oh gosh, what if I just made a lot of mistakes and I was like lying about them or something like that. And it's really easy to think that because obviously we're like much younger and have less research experience and everything.
Especially as a young journalist, it's sometimes hard to feel like you're being, treated seriously by the people you're talking to. You can be dismissed. When you're writing about people who don't want to be written about or only want favorable stories about them, they resist. You have to hear them in case they're correct about anything, in case you've ever made a mistake, or you don't want to hide mistakes. But a lot of times, people who don't like stories about them will say you made a mistake or say you did something wrong when you didn't, and you have to be ready to stand up for yourself.
From our time during the pandemic, everyone, especially the youth, has encountered stress and further impacts on our mental health. We want to speak out about it even more and use our voices. This pushes us to think and wonder, can the youth voice impact government decisions? Is the youth voice important? How should the youth voice be expressed in order to be accepted by our society?
So it's really this idea that kids are important to the future. One of the key things is we wanted to encourage kids to take much more interest and accountability in affairs in the nation, in civic affairs.
So the short answer is yes, people should be able to express their views. It's important to express views. The problem is there's just so much noise out there on social media. Sometimes it's hard for real discussions to happen without it becoming shouting and bullying. And when you're getting attacked, again, if you're working hard, if you're working diligently and being fair, you can feel confident internally that you've done what you need to do. You shouldn't feel bad about that.
I didn't feel so much pressure to be more right than them. Obviously, I do want to be correct and having the factual information.
Ever since the peak of youth involvement in the 1960s, the youth voice remains as a catalyst for change. Throughout the recent presidential elections, young voters have been increasing as more learn and take part in our democracy. Now, the youth voice may be small, but we are never too small to make a difference for the future.
We are standing for our futures. We are healing what is wrong.
The example that jumps to mind is, in the wake of some school shootings, you've had a number of, high school students speak out and join together about gun violence, and their voices have mattered. But if people are active and again, recruit each other and talk to each other and develop their positions in a responsible and a respectful way, there are ways to be heard, no matter how old you are.
I mean, I mentioned Malala. She had a very, very powerful voice. You've got Greta, who is a teenager, and you've got David Attenborough, very seasoned person. They're probably the two most influential voices that you will hear about about green issues and environmentalism. And I think that's a really good example of how everybody has to be heard.
We had the highest turnout in 25 years in the 2018 midterms, a 10% jump from 2014 midterms, which is in fact nearly a 50% increase overall.
The world and its people are creating a new period. America's democracy changed from a globally respected, perfect role model into a challenged and conflicted one. Our nation needs novel ideas if we are to progress further. To our government, please listen to the voices of the youth. To our youth, let's responsibly stand and deliver. Today, I stand here. Who knows if the next generation of representatives in the Capitol could be you or me?
And we wanted to make sure that they had a voice, and also that people who are perhaps running for office, for presidential office, understood that they needed to communicate with children as well as adults, because although adults may vote for them, the future of the planet is for the children.
We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man.
I'm 18 years old.
I'm 16 years old.
I'm 15 years old.
I'm 15 years old. I'm 14 years old.
I am 15 years old. I am 15 years old.
I'm 14 years old.
I'm 15 years old. I'm 16 years old.
I'm 17 years old.
I'm 15 years old. I'm 15 years old.
I'm 16. I'm 15 years old.
I'm 14 years old.
I'm 15 years old. I'm 15.
I am 15 years old.
I'm 15.
I am 18 years old.
I'm 15 years old.
I'm 17 years old.
I'm 17 years old.
My name's Teresa Fang. I'm 15 years old and I care about the youth voice.